I'd like to bring you a tale tonight about an argument and a hit song over cooking. That's right, you heard me. Um, so, my beloved artist, probably one of my favorites, whole reason I purchased this guitar, possibly. Anyway, him and his woman were having a fight, little spat over a delicatessen that was being served, and she, of course, left off running away, crying and upset. And this artist began to spew magical lyrics from his hand. And by the time she had returned, the lyrics had been written over the episode and her crying. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I guess he'd already started working out the basically the basis of the song and how kind of the tune was going. And this would have been in 1966. The song wasn't released until 1967. And just kind of another anecdotal thing about this artist, this guy always had a guitar with him. Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell had both commented about how when you go over to his house, he would go to the bathroom and have the guitar in the bathroom, and he'd go, do his business in there, and they said he'd literally be in there for 2 or 3 hours just strumming away because of the acoustics in the bathroom, right? And so he just write songs in the bathroom or just play or practice, but they said he literally had a guitar with him wherever he went. And I don't think it's any big mystery I'm talking about Hendrix, right? So in 1967, they're working on the Experienced album in the studio. They're wrapping it up. They just got finished with a song. They had about 20 minutes left. Now, his original bassist, Noel Redding, hadn't heard the song. Neither had Mitch, neither his drummer. Neither one of them had heard the song. His manager had encouraged him. He had heard who became Jimi Hendrix's bassist earlier at a festival playing this song together back in 1966. This is before it was ever released as a song or whatever. He was out kind of touring with this guy, and who Jimi Hendrix preferred much better than Noel Redding as his bassist, but that's another story that you really should watch and listen to. However, so he's like, hey, why don't we do this song? You've already got it written, you've got it down, etc. So he started playing it, kind of laid out how the bass riff should go. The drummers, of course, these are very talented musicians. They picked it up right away. They started playing the song. They all agreed that they should do some overdubs, so they started doing some overdubs. The solo was written, and in 20 minutes, Wing Cries Mary was written. I find that absolutely amazing. It's probably one of my favorite songs, and it's a Little Wing. And, of course, Hey Joe and those, all of those things that came off that album just are great. If you're a Hendrix fan, you'll like that. If you're not, you hate it. So, whatever. But to have that song done in 20 minutes, Rolling Stones called it probably it's number 369 out of the all-time 500 greatest songs ever made or released. That's by Rolling Stones' opinion. I think that's definitely up to argument because music's subjective. However, I want to bring it to you. satisfying Hendrix for you there. When Cries Mary, RE Experience 1967. 52 years old. Yeah. I love that song. I love this guitar. PRS Silver Sky. Kind of a rundown of the gear just for you. PRS Silver Sky and Olympia White. Wasn't sure about this guitar, and after I bought it, I took it out of the box and was just blown away. You can't go wrong if you invest some money into this type of guitar. I've got a wet and dry setup. Monoprice 15 watt for the dry. I do have a little reverb into it, but for the most part it's a dry amp. I've got a Boss Katana for the wet. Running the 1 watt setting on the Monoprice. I think I'm running the 25 watt, but I got the volume turned down. I put a little boost into it to give it some depth into the Katana. I'm going into a, bear with me, these are Amazon, like literally $20 pedals. I think I might have paid $39.99 for the most expensive pedal in that range. So we've got a compressor, which is a Koco, K-O-K-O compressor. That goes into an ABY Big Shot. Kicking into the dry loop, I've got a tube drive, which I believe is a Donner pedal. And then I have a Donner Blues driver, which actually is a very good sounding pedal. Both of these are good. I like the tube driver in this thing. Kicking up to the signal chain, on the wet side, it goes into a Wave, which is a delay pedal. I have a Ripple, but that is turned off. There's no tremolo in there. And then I have, I don't even know who this company is, but it's a reverb, and it's like a digital type reverb, so it'll emulate Spring, Hall, or whatever. I have it set on Spring. Slightly wet. It's a pretty dynamic pedal, so I'll kick some pictures here at the end so you guys can see the pedal board. And then for fuzz, and I did something different that I've never done before with my wet dry setup, and I really like the way it worked. I had my fuzz always set on my dry channel, so I would get a kind of a 2 guitar effect. I'd have this wet harmonic fluty sound, then I would have just this driving fuzz sound, and it just, I don't know, it's almost like they were kind of fighting against each other, right? So I took my fuzz, and basically it goes from my compressor to my fuzz up into my signal chain and then out through my wet and dry loops. So when I kick my fuzz in, it hits both amps. And that made all the difference in the world. In fact, I like doing the signal chain so much that I'm going to do this in my regular setup on my Vox amp and my other setup with my 4x12 stack that I have for my loud amps. So, the other thing I found that it did is, I don't know about anybody else out there, but when you hit your fuzz or you hit anything that's in the beginning of the chain, and I probably should be using some type of boosters and that type of stuff, but I'm not. I use a lot of EQing on the pedals and that type of stuff, trying to get the levels all straight across the board. But when I'd hit the fuzz, the fuzz is a bam, it's a bolt. You want it to hit, and you want it to sound just badass, right? I'd hit the fuzz, and it'd be like, it'd be like, not so fuzzy. And you'd hear it coming out of the dry, but the wet amp, it was, and like I get it, they were just fighting each other. So, I don't know, I had a light bulb moment the other night, and I was like, why don't you just run it through your signal chain and hit both your amps with it? Because that's what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to overdrive both channels, right? Because you want that sound coming out of both channels, and then when you come back, you want them to be different. So, as you kick in and out of the fuzz, that made a huge difference. I suggest if you have a pedal board, give it a shot. See what you think. Comment in the comments. I don't know. Maybe that's how everybody's been doing it, and just old Pokey Joe here just figured it out. But it's a lot of fun. So again, as always, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for listening to my story. I tried to put all the gear review and the geeky stuff at the end, and we're going to try that mix-up. I've had a friend of mine tell me that would maybe go better with the videos, so we'll give that a shot for you. But thanks for watching. Peace out. Play some Hendrix. Have some fun.